We started a shyness clinic to help people who were shy, who were inhibited, and we are almost 100% effective because we know how to treat shyness. And that clinic is still continuing this day in 2018 in Palo Alto University. And I wrote popular books, Shyness, What It Is, What to Do About It, which was very popular, sold, I think, 500,000 copies. So this is a combination of getting an original idea, turning it into research, turning the research into treatment, and then sharing these ideas with the general public.
From pray.com, this is Life, Leadership, and Legacy. Every week, we give you the stories, values, and actions driving the world's most passionate leaders. On this podcast, we'll hear about the lives of pray.com's most devoted leaders. Listen to the experiences that have shaped their life, the mistakes they've made, and how they've learned to fulfill their destiny while leaving a legacy of helping others. On episode 3 of this 3-part series, Dr. Philip Zimbardo talks about his studies in how good people turn evil, what to do about shyness, and the time perspective theory. From worldwide psychology conferences to TED Talks to authoring prominent books in psychology, he plans to leave a memorable and helpful legacy of education.
I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a researcher, I'm a writer. Those are my 3 definitions. So I've been an educator for almost 60 years now. I taught at New York University, at Columbia University, at Stanford University, at Barnard University, many universities overseas in Europe. So I'm a teacher. I teach. I work very hard at being an effective, good teacher. I model what is best in teaching. I teach courses in how to be an effective teacher for graduate students. In addition to my in-class teaching, which I must say was legendary at Stanford University, I also took 3 years to develop a program called Discovering Psychology for high school students and really the general public. I did it 20 years ago and I updated it, and it's still available online through Annenberg CPB project. Discovering Psychology is a 26 episodes, each 30 minutes, that I created and narrated, covering all of psychology. And it's probably maybe one of my most enduring assets to the field of psychology. Secondly, I'm an original researcher. I've worked in more than 40 different domains. So I'm a generalist. When I get an idea that's interesting, I follow it up with research. For me, the magic word is I wonder what would happen if, and then I do the research to answer that question. So in my research, I've done dramatic research like the Stanford Prison Experiment, which is almost 50 years old and is still the subject of lots of controversy and sets examples of what truly dramatic research can be like. My most important area, that my original research in the psychology of shyness, what makes people shy and what they can do to overcome it. I was a pioneering researcher in that area, starting way back in 1972. I started this Stanford Shyness Research Project, which we did all kinds of original research on shyness. We started a shyness clinic to help people who were shy, who were inhibited, and we are almost 100% effective because we know how to treat shyness. And that clinic is still continuing this day in 2018 in Palo Alto University. And I wrote popular books, Shyness, What It Is, What to Do About It, which was very popular, sold, I think, 500,000 copies. So this is a combination of getting an original idea, turning it into research, turning the research into treatment, and then sharing these ideas with the general public. And we still have a website wish people visit shyness.com. And a lot of my work was with Dr. Lynn Henderson, and she's transformed the idea of shyness into social fitness. So her treatment is called social fitness therapy. In the same way we all want to be physically fit, we all want to be socially fit, and we can do so by following the path that she outlines. The other thing I started is the whole domain of psychology of time perspective, how people divide their personal experiences into temporal categories of past, present, future. And I developed an original scale, the Zimbardo Time Perspective Inventory, ZTPI, which measures the degree to which people live in a positive or negative past, positive or negative future, positive, negative present. And that scale is being used around the world. There are hundreds of researchers who now study this concept of time perspective in many different ways. And we have biannual international conferences every 2 years, starting 8 years ago in Coimbra, Portugal, and then Warsaw, Poland, then Copenhagen, Denmark. And this last month, we were in Nantes, France. And in 2 more years, our next 5th biannual conference will be in Cologne, Germany. The current research I'm doing is I call it man disconnected or man interrupted. And I'm focusing why young boys and men are getting addicted to video games and online pornography. I've done the original research in that area. I've written, as I said, several books about this concept. And now the addiction to video games and pornography is now a clinically valid depiction of addiction. And in my book, I describe the phenomena. I was the first to clearly identify both of those. And then we propose a number of solutions. So the prison study as a dramatic kind of research, shyness area, time perspective, and addiction to pornography and video game. And lastly, probably my most important contribution, I think, is in the area of heroism. So 10 years ago, I started this Heroic Imagination Project in San Francisco. We're a nonprofit foundation that not only inspires, but trains ordinary people how to become everyday heroes. Everyday heroes are people who stand up, speak out, and take wise and effective action in challenging situations in their lives. They oppose the evil of inaction, meaning passivity in the face of doing nothing when people should be doing something, and also the evil of action, like bullying and other hostile social actions. So I formed this foundation. We've had an active board of directors. We have, again, our website, heroicimagination.org, shares information that we have learned with the general public. Our lessons combine basic social psychology and cognitive psychology in really unique ways. So our lessons are used, as I said, in high school, colleges, and now in businesses. And what makes the lessons special is they're all organized around provocative videos. And we give the teachers or the business center a presenter's guide with all the videos, with all the background research, and then we lead them through how to deliver these materials in a very efficient and effective and interesting, as I said, provocative ways. And so we license our lessons for relatively minimal fee, but in order to use the lessons, I or one of our master trainers has to go to the school, to the business, the center, and train people how to be effective heroic imagination leaders. Our program now is in more than a dozen countries around the world, most of which I have gone to do the training, and I go back and visit regularly. So our most ambitious program is in Budapest, Hungary, and now we're in more than 1,000 high schools throughout all of Hungary. So I usually go there every year or every other year, and we're all over Poland, in Warsaw, Krakow, and other places. We're in the ghetto in Sicily, in Palermo, and we're working with African migrant youth, not only teaching them our lessons, but getting them to be the trainers of Italian high school kids the same age. Only now, because they are the teacher, they get new respect, and it's been transformative for many of these young African boys and girls. So legacy means what are you remembered for? So it will be mostly for all that research. As I said, also I'm a writer. I've published 60 books and more than 600 articles. I published introductory textbooks like Psychology and Life. I did many editions, which has been used literally around the world. Core Concepts, which is an updated version of Psychology and Life. My most important book, from my point of view, is The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. And it summarizes what I learned not only from the prison study, but the work I did with defending an American prison guard in Abu Ghraib prison. Also, my research on genocides in Rwanda and again in Nazi Germany. But then it also ends with positive notions. What is it we can do to prevent good people turning evil? How can we get ordinary people to be inspired to be heroes? And out of that last chapter of that book, I came to think about the Heroic Imagination Project. In addition to writing all those books, I've also been a frequent orator on the TED.com conference. I've given several lectures that have gone viral, seen by millions of people. Probably the most dramatic one was The Psychology of Evil. But then also I did a 4-minute version on the descent of guys and the rise of gals. That's the first time I had an idea about boys getting addicted to video games. And even though it was limited to 4 minutes, so I've given the shortest TED Talk 4 minutes, and the Psychology of Evil is like 21 minutes, one of the longest ever. Both of them went viral and are still seen by millions of people. So my legacy, I'd like to be remembered for the good work I've done as a good teacher, as a good researcher, as a good writer, sharing psychology, giving it away to the general public in forms that they can use it. I want to be seen as an honest, generous, humble man, a self-made man. I emerged from poverty, the son of a second-generation, uneducated Sicilian parents who migrated to the United States it was grandparents migrated to the United States at the turn of the century, and became educated through public education. I never spent one dime on all of my education from kindergarten. I didn't go to from first grade through graduate school. And want to be seen as reliable, as talented, as generous, as he said, humble, uncompromising. And of course, and really what's important is being a good family man, good husband to my wife, Christina, good father to my children, Adam Zimbardo, Tanya, and Zara Zimbardo, and my grandchildren, little Philip Panda Zimbardo, and little Bunny Victoria Lee Zimbardo. And last but not least, to be seen as a good employer of the people who work as my assistants, currently Taylor Langley, and before her Cora Keene, and before her Nikita Duncan Coulomb. So good father, good husband, and ideally good boss. And with that, I hope I do have some legacy that endures. Ciao.
The Life, Leadership, and Legacy podcast series is brought to you by pray.com, the #1 app for daily prayer, prayer requests, and praise reports. Download the app at pray.com/podcast and discover the best way to pray daily with your community. If you enjoy this series, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review of your favorite episode in iTunes. Thanks again for listening.
Did you know you can get on our show by calling us at 323-521-9791? If this episode impacts your day, we want to know. Call 323-521-9791 and leave us a voicemail with your testimony so we can share it with our guests and listeners around the world.